we were raised way out in the suburbs. So nobody really knew or had an inkling of what was going on. We were so-called the perfect children. But the school was a privilege. To go to school, it was like mommy dearest if our closets weren't from short sleeve to long sleeve and done exactly. My mom was a cleaning fanatic. Then we didn't go to school. We weren't allowed to go to school. So the whole way through high school, I had never been to a movie. I had never gone out. I worked very hard. I remember in 10th grade, I remember wanting to be in style and working in a blueberry field, picking blueberries, $2 a crate, to be able to have a pair of Jordache and a pair of regular jeans to wear to school.
You was telling me about the principals, the teachers, that you went into your the principal's office and you cried. You and your sister were just crying. You know, so did they believed you? You went to a foster home, and then the addict comes back. Now what?
The attic was actually before I went into the foster home. And like I said, the attic was actually, when my sister went into the foster home, that was because at the age of 12, I had enough. I was almost 13. And I got tired. I was put in that attic one time too many. And to escape all of that, while I was in the attic, I started on fire from the inside.
This is in the foster family's home?
No, before I went to foster home.
Okay, before you got there. Okay, I understand.
And I burnt myself out. The house was on fire. They never really knew what happened. The fire marshals said it must have been a bird that came by and dropped a cigarette, in there. So long story short, we were placed out of the home for about several months. And my sister we were living near the college, and my sister wound up pregnant, dealing with one of the young guys underneath of where we were staying. And she got pregnant. My mom took her to the health department. Long story short, they recorded my dad saying, well, my mom called and said, well, they won't tell me if she's pregnant or not. They said that they don't have to give me that information. So obviously it was a yes. And my dad said, well, if they won't tell us, that's okay. The little MFer will starve to death. I won't feed either one of them. And when they said that, they had my dad and my mom on the phone with that, and they did not allow my sister to go back home. They ripped her out right then. So she was out of the home. About 6 months later, I was there about 6 months and still going through the fighting. And, every time they would fight, my mom would take me with her. I remember times when she would take me and then they'd call each other on the phone and say, well, I don't want her, you come get her. Well, I don't want her. So here I am, this child that's out there still wondering, when is this all going to end?
And you're 13 right now.
I was about 13, 14 years old. My father did when he found out that, that it had actually went to school and that they picked up on it. My father beat me so bad, grabbed me up in my chest. You think you're a grown woman? I'm going to show you how much of a woman you are. I told you this should never get out. And tried to literally rip my breast off. And when he got done, he put me on the floor, told my mother to get the extension cord, or he was going to beat her, and she went and got it. And he beat me up and down. I remember running back and hiding back behind a curtain. And he said, and you won't eat for 2 days, and if they get caught giving you food.
What I'd like to know is, being you're 43 right now.
44.
44. Have you ever sought any type of counseling for any of that abuse to really put in line or what, just for you to know that it wasn't you as a person, it was someone else that did these things to you? But was there any type of help that you got?
Actually, I did. My foster mom she gave me more love in 2 years than my parents ever gave me. And I remember I used to wake up screaming at night, shaking, very, very bad. And going into the foster home, she used to put a Bible under my head, and when I'd wake up screaming and hollering, she was right there. She got me in counseling. Went through a lot of different counseling. There was times when I had to be put on medication to try to keep me from being depressed or the anxiety. But I have to say that, praying about it as I got older and praying about it and facing the reality of what happened, I really blamed myself and kept trying to find out why am I being treated like this until about 26. At the age of 26 is when I realized that I am somebody. And that came from moving to Atlanta and participating in a pageant, and I was first runner-up. it wasn't to win, but it was to gather all of the girls and have some unity there. And I took 5 trophies, Miss Congeniality, the whole 9. So I knew then I was gifted. I had some gifts. So but I went through a lot of counseling, crying, but a lot of praying. As I got older, the older I got and the more mature I became, especially with my children, I knew I had to be strong. I knew I had to be strong. But the praying got me through most of it. And I've got some grandparents that were very prayerful as well, that would pray on me and pray on that situation, which really brought me out of a lot of it.
Do you forgive your family for what has gone down insofar as the abuse and the whippings, the beatings that your father, gave you? Do you forgive him today?
Oh, definitely. I mean, at this day, because I wrote the book and put in there some really dark secrets that they never wanted to get out, even beside the abuse, from affairs, the whole 9, that really led up to all of this. Neither one of them speak to me at all. I forgive them, and I still love them. The communication up until about August of this last year, of 09, when I received a very excruciating email from my mother. I mean, you can point on that. It was always trying to give and trying to be accepted until I finally realized, you know what, my kids are grown, and I'm almost ready to be a grandmama. I have to let go. And the email that I got hurt me enough when I was told that I really was just picked up from the hospital, and she told me that I was really a bastard child. I really wasn't a Lucas. She lost her child, and 30 days later, I was a preemie. They brought me home to try to cover that pain. So maybe that explains what's going on with it. And I have the actual email from her on my website. At that point, I said, I've got to let it go. I do still periodically send an email. And matter of fact, about 2 weeks ago, I sent one. And it just said, whether you're my mom or not, I still love you and will always pray for you. So I don't hold any bitterness at all, because for me to hold bitterness in my heart, I will never be able to go to another level.
Absolutely.
And my thing is, there's so many people out here who have experienced so many of the different things that I have gone through, other even than the abuse, that I'm ready to help others, not hold on to that and keep myself in bondage.
Now, we have a lot of viewers that will see this show, and I'd like to know, what would you tell someone that is going through what you have gone through? What would you tell them today if they were ready to do what you and your sister was about to do? Set your wrist. If it wasn't for the bus driver putting on brakes, you wouldn't be here today. So what would you tell the person that is going through that and that wants to commit suicide?
It's very emotional for me, because I relived those moments, and I would just tell them, please don't do it. Hold on, be strong, and tell somebody. No matter what your parents, whether it's a boyfriend, whatever abuse you're going through, whether it be a boyfriend, your parents, strangers, whatever it may be, tell somebody. There's always somebody out there. There's helplines. There's somebody out there that will help you. It's not worth giving up your own life. You can get through it. I always say, I'm a living testimony, and it's a journey through darkness, but there's a light at the end of every tunnel. At the end of every tunnel. But you got to be strong. You got to believe. I'm a living testimony, and it's a journey through darkness, but there's a light at the end of every tunnel. At the end of every tunnel. But you got to be strong. You got to believe in you. I go and I try to go out and give flowers to help elderly in memory of my foster mom. I love karaoke, so I go and sing, and always when I sing that first song, it's Hero by Mariah Carey, because that was a healing song to me. I can relate to dig deep down inside myself, because deep down in you, there is somebody there that really wants to get out and
That's
get
good
help.
Advice, because I got to tell you, just sitting here, you guys are looking in, but I'm feeling every moment that she went through, and maybe that's just part of my being, that when someone tells a story, I feel them, and that's where the term came from. When you hear somebody say, "Yo, you feel me?" You feel me means, are you really, really with me? Are you right there with me? Yes, I'm right here with you. I hear your story, and I know that you guys are out there going through it. But remember this: this too shall pass. The days pass. Let go, let God, and just allow for life to happen. You know, and when I say let it happen, that means just know that the next day is coming. And the next day is coming. And before you know it, years will have passed, and whatever you left back there, that's in the back, that's in the rear, don't focus on it. Focus on where you're going opposed to where you've been at.